Good afternoon, and welcome to Expose Yourself to Art, a show that explores creativity by inviting artists of various genres to come on our show and talk with us about their life and their work. My name is David Schrader, and my usual partner, Linda Scheller, is off being creative poetically today. So in her stead, I have invited Linda Knoll, our technical person, backstage person, gallery manager, and artist to join me today and help with the interview process. So come on in, Linda. Hi, Linda.
Oh, hello.
Hey, welcome. Glad to see you online or on screen, I should say. Yeah.
Yes,
So I introduced you, as the gallery manager at Missland. Maybe we can start off by having you tell us what's going on there. What's
Sure.
the latest show?
Yeah. So this coming week is the last 2 days on Thursday and Friday of our Yosemite and Wilderness show. So if you haven't seen the Yosemite tapestries yet, you should get in to see that. And then Saturday we'll be changing shows to a new exhibition of member art that was produced during the year of COVID lockdown. So it's all recent works of various kinds.
Yeah. Well, as introduction to that, what's the year been like for you creatively as an artist?
Yeah, off and on. I actually haven't been very productive artistically, except for my new kids art magazine publication. So that's been taking up most of my time.
Well, that's quite a project.
It
So,
is.
before we get to our wonderful guest, Diane, today, let's take a look at what's going on around town artistically.
Okie doke.
Okay. Oh, this year. Okay. We announced this last week, but I think technical difficulties maybe excluded it from our announcement last week. So this is the 7th annual benefit gala for MOST. This year's MOST benefit features poetry by Indigo Moore and Lee Herrick, classical guitar by David Chapman and Guy Powell, and a Q&A with the poets. Please join them on Sunday, 4/25, that's today, at 2 p.m. Pacific via Zoom. To register and get more information about MOST Poetry Center projects, including community partnerships, free poetry reading workshops, and our 2 reading series, go to mostpoetry.org. So,
Cool.
What's next?
Yeah, so our guest from a few weeks back, Daniel Alfonso, recently participated in a virtual residency with the University of Hawaii. And he gave a lecture and worked with their choirs. And they are going to have a concert of Daniel's works on Monday, this coming Monday, April 26th. We'll present a virtual concert in which they'll perform the entire program of Daniel's music, including We Are the Innocent, which he wrote for the Modesto Symphony Youth Chorus a couple of years ago. The concert's at 10 p.m. our time, because it's at 7 in Hawaii, via Facebook and Zoom. So that's interesting.
All right. Say, and we had him first on our show.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up this is a new offering, Jazz Up Night. It will take place at Chefs of New York restaurant in downtown Modesto. And it's a new endeavor by another person that we had on our show recently, Greg Savage. He's a photographer, and his photography is already, I believe, on the wall at Chefs of New York, and he's interested in bringing jazz, real jazz, classical jazz to Modesto. So this show will be featuring, as in his words, cats who know what real jazz is. This will be taking place on May 14th and 15th at 7 to 9 p.m. We'll have more information as we get closer to the dates. There's an advanced ticket sale of $25. May include some snacks. We're not sure at this point. So anyway, stay tuned. It's a new endeavor in town.
All right. And also this coming Saturday is going to be a pop-up art show in the yard of Jordy Camps Jr. On Magnolia Avenue from 10 to 2. It's just kind of a bunch of different artists bringing their things to show and sell. So check that out Saturday from 10 to 2.
Okay. And let's see, the last announcement we have here is the season offerings from Red Tie Arts, which takes place at Luca Winery during the summer. I spoke to John Griswold recently, and he, in a burst of positive thinking, he put together this year's schedule. As he says at the bottom, it all depends on the government orders. So assuming that we continue to make a dent in the pandemic, these are the offerings that Red Tie Arts will be having this summer, starting with Foreverland, the ultimate 14-piece Michael Jackson tribute band. I think this will be their third visit here. John also wanted me to say that, and to remind people, that Red Tie Arts is a big supporter and donates a large part of their money from the sale of chocolate cake and coffee to young artists. They have supported a lot of young artists, for example, with Opera Modesto's summer program. They have bought instruments for young artists, and if you know of a young artist who could use some support in developing their craft, get in touch with Red Tie Arts. So, wow, things are starting to open up again. But, oh, excuse me. Whew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's time to bring in our guest today, Diane Sorensen. So let me give you a few words here. I can find them here. Diane is, once again, living in Modesto, but she was born in Ashland, Wisconsin, and migrated to California when she was 19. She dabbled in many different mediums, including ceramics, but has settled on acrylics and mixed media. Her paintings are primarily acrylics, but her mixed media began with a passion for repurposing, reusing, and recycling, and developed into a love of paper cloth mache, turning trash into treasure, resulting in original works of art. Recently, she has been producing a series entitled Things with Wings. So anyway, I have seen her art. I call her the Dragon Lady. Very popular dragons. Everybody seems to have them. So come on in, Diane, and let's get started here.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great, and you?
I'm good.
Yeah. So first things first, you're from Wisconsin, as am I.
Yes.
So the question is, are you a cheesehead or a badger?
I'm a cheesehead.
Oh boy.
I know.
So a Green Bay Packer fan, right?
Yes.
Yes, I am too, but I'm pretty much more of a badger. I don't look good in the cheesehead.
You gotta have a certain personality to wear that thing.
Right. Oh boy. So anyway, we both grew up in Wisconsin, and actually we were about the same age when we moved to California.
Yes.
I don't know if there was a reason for you. I left because of the cold and spent most of my time here.
Yeah, I left. I basically ran away from home, but I left because I was in search of something bigger than the cold and the desolate winters. And I've stayed in California ever since I left.
Okay. So in talking to you prior to our going on the air today, you've had an interesting artistic career. And even though most of your formal training started late in life, there were some threads that go all the way back to when you were young. So why don't you start there and tell us how you started? Where does this artistic urge come from in you?
I don't know where the urge comes from, but it's always been there. I dabbled in clay at the age of 9 when I dug up the backyard and started working with red clay. And ever since then, I've been making things. I've made a lot of Christmas presents for my siblings, and just carried on into sewing as an adult, and painting, and three-dimensional soft sculpture. I did a lot of that, and it all worked. It just kept growing and growing.
Yeah. You also mentioned at one time that when you were very young, you were designing houses or designing floor plans or something?
Yes, I did. And I gave you the wrong time period. I think I was in the 6th grade when I was doing that. And I'd sit there with my little tablet I think it was a yellow tablet with lines on it. And I'd sit there behind my book drawing house plans.
Really?
In school. I
Yeah.
had my work done, but I was still doing it in school. And I guess I shouldn't have been, because I got in trouble.
Really? For
Yeah.
drawing house plans, or
I
not
was
paying attention?
very simple, but I was structuring them with rooms and pathways and everything, and windows, and so.
So these were like blueprints as opposed to.
They were
Or did
pencil
you do
drawings, just
pencil
pencil drawings. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And then
go
as
ahead.
I became an adult, when I moved to Mariposa, I went back to school and actually got my AS in drafting.
Okay. But did you also take art classes at that time?
I did at that time. So I was in my 40s, and I actually I started taking art classes in my spare time because I had quite a drive from Mariposa to Merced and didn't want to go back and forth. I just stayed there and started taking art classes to fill in my time. And I ended up graduating with my drafting degree, and I only had a few credits left to get from my art degree. So I went back the next year and graduated again.
Okay. So it was interesting that, you had both had an art degree and a drafting degree, and you actually made your living for some time as a, draftsperson?
Draftsperson, yes, and which I really enjoyed. I did that for 17 years, and
Wow.
It was all on AutoCAD, all on the computer. I started out taking classes thinking I was going to be a landscape architect, but then when I discovered AutoCAD and took a couple classes, and I just had to go that way.
Yeah, I read here on your bio that you actually did some design work, designed some houses for some people you worked with. Oh,
yeah. I've designed some houses. I've designed actually some motels, and the ones that are on the way up to Yosemite. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I've designed some of the buildings in there. And I've designed roads and bridges and sidewalks.
Yeah. And the interesting one that I have here, if I can find a way to read it, what is this about designing the floor mosaic in Modesto's City of Modesto lobby?
Yes.
Is that still there?
It's still there. It's in the middle. When you go in the front, or I guess it's considered the back door when it's on the lobby on 10th Street side. Before you go upstairs, you have to walk over this mosaic on the floor. And I actually reproduced that for the artist. She had a little drawing, and I reproduced it. I think it was 72 sheets of paper, 24 by 36 it took to reproduce that. And then she cut out the stone and laid it in.
Okay. So you were part of putting that together. This is right behind Missland, behind the gallery as you go into the City
I think
County
right
building.
in front of the information desk or customer service desk there.
Wow. So anyway, I've been talking about you and put out some little blurbs about having you on the show and called you the Dragon Lady.
Yes.
And the first time I met you was at some kind of what must have been Third Thursday art walk at Michelin Gallery, and you had a dragon puppet.
I had a dragon puppet. There he is. Well, it might have been the green one. I have two of them. This is the second one.
So anyway, that was unique. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah. They're a lot of fun. I've had them to Renaissance fairs and different places like that, and the kids just gather around, and I have more fun with that.
Yeah. So are dragons recent in your art? Or where did you start? Where did you start with all this? I know the dragons are also made out of paper mache, so we've got two things.
Yeah. I started with pumpkins. I started with pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns when I still lived in Mariposa. They had a recycle fair up there, and it had to be 90% repurposed product. You could only use 10% paint and glue and all that kind of stuff. So I started making pumpkins, and that's where the paper mache started.
Oh.
Do we want to go ahead and share some of the images?
Yes, let's do that. Yeah. we have a picture of the pumpkins, right? I think. Oh, there you go.
There's a dragon in action, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember seeing you at the silent auction a couple of times, and people just do love that.
Yeah.
There you go.
And there's my big green dragon behind it too. Oh, there's the pumpkins.
So there's the pumpkins.
Yeah.
So you said this is where the paper mache started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I found out the guy's name, Scott Stoll. He's back east somewhere, and I started following him and learned how to make pumpkins from him, basically.
Fun. What will we ever see pumpkins like this at Michelin Gallery?
They've been down there, yes. Yes, and they've all sold.
Wow.
They've been in the gift shop.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you got into paper mache. You started with ceramics, but somehow, something happened and you switched over to paper mache. There we go.
That's done at my house. I had two kilns. I had a regular electric kiln, and then I built a hand-built raku kiln. And I had my own wheel, and my structural back just wouldn't take it anymore. So after I did it for 12 years, and my back was bothering me so bad I just couldn't do it anymore. And after 2 years, I decided I got to get into something else, and I sold my wheel, sold the kiln, and got into paper mache, and I've been very happy.
Right. Well, you're getting into paper mache is a lot different than my memories of paper mache. Let's say when I was in elementary school.
Right.
So what can you tell us about that? I mean, these look very complicated pieces, like sculpture. Yeah.
Well, I was really surprised when I started getting into researching paper mache, how many artists, are full-blown making a living off of this stuff. And there's so many aspects that you can go with just the strip mache. You can go with paper clay. You can go with paper pulp. Like this bunny here, he's paper mache strips underneath, but then he has paper pulp fur, and that's made from egg cartons.
From egg cartons.
You have to mash up the egg cartons, turn it into a pulp. You add Elmer's glue and maybe some joint compound and some cornstarch or something like that, and you mix it up, and it turns into a wonderful pulp.
Cool. How do you get those textures like that? I love the texture of this.
I can't remember exactly, but I think I did it with a what do you call it? Palette knife.
Okay. So this is like built-up sculpture,
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, as opposed to carved-out sculpture.
Correct. You start with nothing and you build out till you get what you want. Yeah.
So what's underneath the paper mache?
It varies on the subject matter, but I normally start out with cardboard, just a cardboard shape to tell me where the spine's going to go and maybe the neck. And then I pad that with newspaper wrapped with masking tape. And then I start putting the strip paper on top of it, the strip paper mache.
Okay.
And
we have some process pictures we'll show in a little bit, so you can
Okay.
kind of see what's underneath.
Yeah. So they're not hollow. I mean, that's
no,
yeah.
I like to make them solid because they're structurally so much more, they have so much more strength. Yeah.
Okay.
And this
Okay.
guy, this is my pool shark.
Pool shark. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez. There's an interesting concept.
I've had the pleasure of making 2 of them so far.
Yeah. So, wow.
And they're both in pool halls.
They are. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you make them on commission, or you just dreamt them up and they found you?
Yeah, I just dreamt them up and they found me.
Pool shark. Wow. That's clever. That's very good. Yeah.
So these are some of your earlier paper mache pieces, right?
Yeah, the shark I made down here, so he's probably only 4 years old or so.
Mm-hmm.
This guy I made up in Mariposa. And I know I told you that sometimes I was in the office up there all by myself for maybe a week at a time when everybody else was on vacation. And I got so bored, I brought him to work with me, and I was painting the dots on him at work.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This one is just amazing. There's got to be a story here. I mean, where does an idea come from for something like this?
Well, I know the steampunk genre or whatever is really into octopuses. And I belonged to the steampunk group in Mariposa for a while and got to dress all up. Well, you saw the picture with the dragon puppet. I had a steampunk hat on.
Uh-huh.
And so I got into the steampunk, and they had a big float that had a really dilapidated octopus on it. And they asked me if I would make them a new one. So there he is.
Wow.
How big did you say that is?
That's about 8 feet long.
Wow.
Hey. So is it still alive somewhere? I mean,
I think it's still alive up in Oregon.
In Oregon?
Yeah, it lasted in Mariposa for a couple of years, and then the people that were in charge of the float wanted to pass it on to somebody else. So it went up to Oregon, where there's a big steampunk group up there.
Gee, I would like to see that sometime.
The eyeballs are baseballs.
Really? Wow. That's cool.
We need to have a retrospective where you can bring some of this stuff down to the gallery. That would be wild. Okay. Just amazing.
That was, I think, my first repurpose, recycle fair. And I made a couple of mannequins, but this dress over here is made out of bags from the market up there, from Mariposa Market. And I cut all the red, they had red binding on the bottom of the green bags. I cut all that off and wove it together and melted it together with an iron. And then I made the dress and the hat, and my daughter actually wore it at the fair.
Wow. Looks like lettuce.
It does, doesn't it?
It's not lettuce, though, is it?
No, it's plastic.
It's plastic. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's up next here? We have
the flying pigs.
That's one of your other flying things. Flying pigs. Yeah. When pigs could fly, or if pigs could fly. Yeah. So I don't think I've seen the pig either. Is that
really?
somewhere? Have you sold that?
I've sold them. I've sold 5 of them now. The last one was in the Michelin window when I had my display in the window. There was a black and white pig there. I don't think you have a picture of it. There it is.
This guy.
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
And he sold right away. He just flew right out of there.
Yeah. Your things strike a chord with your fans. I mean, you've sold a lot of these, and they're fanciful, mystical and fanciful. I guess that's the.
And they're not real childish either. They're fun for an adult, even, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm. They're fun for me. So
Oh,
are
gosh.
these ceramics again, or?
These are definitely either plastic or ceramic, or I didn't make the bowls. They were donated, but myself and my daughter painted them for the empty bowls fund, or I can't remember what they raised money for. It's been several years. But one year I did over 150 bowls, and I paper machéed over a lot of plastic bowls at that time.
So you did these up in Mariposa?
No, these were down here.
These are down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've contributed to a number of different fundraising things, and this little piece you helped me with for a fundraiser for our gallery, our education programs, which turned out really cool.
Right.
Yeah, I love the way you did that violin.
And there was I didn't actually put that up here, but you've done pieces for the Cricket's house.
Yes, that was the heart with the wings. Yeah.
So I think that's cool when we can all get into supporting our mutual organizations.
Yeah, I know. I've donated some of my dragons to the little things that you put on for the autumn festival and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since you have a dragon here, let's get into dragons. I mean, this is a predominant theme of yours. I mean, these are fun, incredible, expressive. There's so many ways of describing them. This is just, I don't know how to describe this. This is just fun.
Yeah.
A guitar playing dragon.
Yeah. It looks like singing too.
Where did he come from?
He was for another benefit, for the same one that the other one with the violin and the little frosty dragon, that he was done for the same benefit.
Well, let's take a look at some of your other dragons here. Some of them are really quite.
Oh.
What do we have? Oh, he's reading a book.
He's reading a book, and I had to shrink that book down. It's a real dragon book, and I shrunk it down and made the little tiny book myself. And I've done a couple of reading dragons for the same customer. And I had to play with the whole thing to get him to sit up right, and it was a lot of fun.
Let's see this big green dragon on this tree stump. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
That was, wow.
That was fun. I tell you, the looks that he got.
Yes, I remember it. Walk in the gallery and go, wow, what is this creature?
Yeah. And there again, I made the tree stump out of paper and cardboard and paper mache.
So one of the things that is impressive to me about your work for this paper mache, for example, I'm holding one of your dragons here that my wife's bought, is the detail on it, the scales on the dragon. It looks like they're put on individually. They
are, and depending on the size of the dragon is how this is done differently now. This is done with that paper pulp like was on the bunny. He was just too big for me to cover with scales.
Right, but the smaller ones, so these take a lot of time. I mean, each scale is a piece of paper or a piece of cloth?
It's a piece of cloth cut into a square and then folded into, or it's dipped in glue and then it's folded into the triangle and attached. And then just row by row by row. And you have to let some of it dry, like the stomach is done differently than the scales. And you have to let everything dry in between. And it takes about 3 weeks to do a dragon.
Oh, yeah. On this one, we can see here, some of the details. So all of those scales are put on individually.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Hey, let's look at that white one there. What is this?
Oh, yeah. I fell in love with that one.
Does he have a name, or it have a name, or?
The owner just called him White Dragon. The name of White Dragon. And I call him the White Dragon in the Red Forest. because he is surrounded by these pipes. You can only see one of them there, but they're surrounded by these red pipes, and he looks like he's flying through a forest of red pipes. So, but he's 4 feet wide by 4 feet long. And
Man.
I weighed him, and he weighed about 12 pounds also.
Jeez. So, yeah, okay, the obvious question is, why dragons? Where does this come from in you? I mean, this is mythical, it's fanciful. I don't know how you would describe it, but...
Yeah, I would describe it as mythical also, and fantastical. I have been asked many times why dragons and how I got into them, and it just fell my way, and it just became so well liked that I continued making dragons, and the more dragons I make, the bigger I went. And
yeah. I looked it up after I knew you were going to be on the show, so I looked it up, and symbolic meanings for dragons, and it seems like there were two basic categories. In Western civilization, very often dragons are seen as being somewhat evil. In Eastern religions, they're seen as being symbols of power and strength.
Yes.
Kind of the one in the middle I found here, I'll read it. The dragon, a legendary creature, symbolizes protection, success, wisdom, loyalty, fearlessness, strength, balance, and immense possibility. Being the master, being the master of all four elements of fire, water, earth, and wind, it also embodies primordial power. So look what you got going. Any of those things apply to you? And
definitely, and not in life, but it's in my alter ego, I guess. But to me, making a dragon represents freedom and strength and protection for the people who have purchased them, and I try and work that into the dragon's personality when I'm making it.
Wow!
I never make an evil dragon.
No, yours definitely are not. No, they are not.
And it's really funny. I don't know, that painting up there with the dragons in it. I did a generic wall of China, but I put English dragons in there. They're not Chinese dragons. So, but somebody said, well, dragons do fly, so.
Yes, they do.
There.
Okay. So you've also gone in a different direction with some of your human creations.
Yes.
There we go. There's one of them. So tell us about this lovely lady.
Well, this wild lady is supposed to be a 60s roller skate car hop. And she's wearing vintage skates that I purchased in Wisconsin on one of my vacations. I was visiting my sister. We went to a thrift store, and there were the skates. And I knew I was going to be doing this, but had no skates yet. So I packed them in my suitcase and brought them home. And this was when Chris Murphy had the Modesto view down at Pier Recovery. And so this fit right into that. And he had me, well, he didn't. It was somebody else asked me to make the face look like Chris's daughter. So basically, that's
what you did.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Okay. So,
and then the same one became this. And this is going to sound gross, but I broke her arm and repositioned her arm and turned her into a woodland fairy.
Was this for another show, or?
That was just out of my head, for Renaissance fairs, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then this is the way she showed up down at the Mifflin Gallery window when I had my display. Same doll, but now I have made puppet legs so she can sit down. I've got her hips, her knees, and her ankles are like a marionette, and I've got the little marionette sitting on her lap. And I use this title in something, I can't remember what it was, but am I turning into a marionette or is he turning into a human?
Okay. So you keep repurposing her. I guess
Yeah.
that's the.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this?
This is at Christmas. She was again down at Miss Lynn Gallery in the window for the Christmas decorations. And that's the way she went. I made the skirt and the skirt and the apron and the hat, and now she's being remade again for one more look.
Okay. Oh, this is something new. This is
Yeah.
not her.
No, this is Don Quixote
Yeah.
and his whimsical look.
Tell us about him.
Well, the man who custom ordered this one also got my Rhino, and that's how I was introduced to him, was through the Rhino. And we got together and we're talking, and he really wanted me to do something. We were talking about the dragons, and that's how the white dragon became born, I guess. And then we were joking about Don Quixote, and I didn't know who he was. And so I went home and I researched all of it and bought a couple books and went back to him, to Aaron, and said, I want to make him, but I want to make him full size. And he said, go for it.
Wow. So this now belongs to him? Or,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Is it on display anywhere?
It's in his office down at the Modesto Silos.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where the white dragon is too. It's down at the Modesto Silos.
Oh, okay. So what is the Modesto Silos, if I may ask?
They're going to repurpose the silos, and they're trying to make a cafe that will be accessible to the students for lunch and after class things in the evening. And I'm not sure what all they're going to have yet. He's talking about having wine in the evening and just lunch in the afternoon, and then displaying art and having monthly get-togethers of some sort for different clubs. So he's really trying to put a big effort into the art community.
Okay.
Right.
I understand. Linda, did you get some pictures of the construction of Don Quixote?
No.
No?
The construction ones are of the dragons. Do you want to have a look at those? Or
Yeah, I apologize for not getting there on my old computer, and I haven't transferred the data yet.
Okay. Before we go there, I see there's a picture of the Rhino there. You mentioned a Rhino?
Yeah, yeah.
So again, where did he come from? Your creative mind, I know, but
yeah, I was also getting into endangered species. I've done a polar bear painting, and I've done the rhino, and those are the only two that I've gotten done so far. That's a black rhino, and so I the same with the polar bear painting. Tommy Lou had wonderful little poems that we put next to him, and they.
Okay. There you go. Polar bear. Yeah.
And that's called Searching for Ice.
Okay.
Diane, I want you to make me a California tiger salamander one of these days.
Oh, wow. That's great.
That's another endangered species.
Well, we're jumping all around here, but we're into painting. So you've also dabbled in painting. I
have, yeah. I try and do 1 or 2 paintings a year. Is about all I get done.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That one with the, well, okay, we can start.
You want to go with this one?
Or the one above it. That's in the gallery right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these both are actually, that one and that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about these?
Well, I was taking classes at Merced College at the time, and I was taking an acrylic painting class, and I went to the lake, took photographs, and came back and started the painting, and it's always been one of my favorites. And then the one below it, the one that's showing now, that's from a photograph also that I did not take, but it is from a photograph of Yosemite Valley, and I've had many compliments on that about the needles on the tree and but yeah.
You
It's very
explore a lot of
atmospheric.
things. Yeah. What's this one above? There you go.
Oh,
You're into something new now.
yeah. I've started messing around with pour painting and just for a little freedom of expression. And this one, I also want to learn how to do 3D shading on them, not just a flat pour paint, but I want to learn. So I did the gray one first for shading, and then this was my second one. I really like the way this one turned out. When you look at it in real life, you can actually feel, like there's depth and you're looking down into something.
What medium are you shading with there?
That is still acrylic paint.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the other one.
Yeah. That one looks like the cracked earth surface.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little lava in there someplace. I don't know.
And the one above that, that's your, I've seen
Oh,
this.
yeah.
That one at the gallery too. Yeah.
Yeah. That one actually sold. And that was my very first experiment with shading. And bubbles was the easiest thing to try and learn how to shade. And I tell you, YouTube is wonderful for learning how to do things like this.
So what's the one? There's another one in there.
Oh, yeah.
That almost looks like a dragon again.
I know it has those tendencies to look like it's a dragon. I saw that too when it first came together. But that's called a double Dutch pour paint, and you put your paint down the center in whatever form you want it, all the different colors in a stripe, and then you take a hair dryer and you blow it on top of each other, and you get these wonderful designs. And that one is 2 feet by 4 feet, so it's kind of big.
Okay. So getting back to the people again, you did a installation. I don't know if it's the same young lady or the other one, but you did. There she is.
Hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about her, because I was so impressed with this.
Yeah, I just got goosebumps looking at her. It was very emotional to create her because she's got so much angst about her for the women of the world and their voting rights and so much history, black rights, white rights. It didn't matter. It was all women's rights were being overlooked and managed by the government, basically. So above her on the ceiling is a big hand holding the puppet strings, and on it says "Big Government."
Oh, wow.
And she's got a pair of scissors and she's cutting free. She's gaining her freedom.
She's taking her life in her own hands.
Yeah. I've got her back here too. If we get a chance to look at my works back there, I've got her. She's being rebuilt also.
Well, maybe this is a good time to do that. Let's take a look at. You said you have it set up so we can see your studio and some of the things.
I'm going to move the camera. I'll have to move the camera.
Okay.
And hold it over there. Okay.
Okay.
Don't get seasick now.
All right.
Let's see if I can get it up there.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There's the hair that I'm making out of paper towels. And that, again, is that same lady. She's being rebuilt, and she's going to be on her haunches now. And then the little girl is also on her heels. And I had originally planned on her holding some birds with her hands. And so I had to rebuild her hands from the fists. She couldn't have fists anymore. And so I rebuilt her hands. And she's going to have the same kind of hair as the woman does. And hopefully they'll have clothes on too.
So you were making these for the domestic show, you said?
Yes, for the home art in the home, or however it's.
Right. So we can look for them in July.
Right. And what I'm going to do is after I get them done, I'm going to make a small quilt sample. Since the quilt show got canceled, they're going to have a quilt between the two of them. They're going to be holding it like they're working on it.
Oh, cool.
Yes, very nice. So how do you, well, I don't know if we can how do you make the hair? You said you make it out of paper towels?
Paper towels, yes. I cut strips in the paper towels and soak them in glue and then twist them and put on each strand individually. And the way she is right now, I'm trying to puff it up a little bit. So I put some aluminum foil on there this morning and covered it up with pieces of flat paper towel. Now I'll go over it again with more strings.
Jeez, lots of work. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, speaking of all the work, and I had asked you earlier about all the individual scales on the dragon. I don't know if we have a picture of it, but you did a phoenix made out of some kind of metal.
Yeah, it's up there next to the gargoyle, and its feathers are made out of metal mini blinds. And
could you bring that down here, or is
yeah,
that, yeah?
I think I can. Let's see. It's pretty heavy. Let me put it over here.
Yeah.
Can you see enough of it?
Yeah, a little bit. Is there any way of getting your camera over there on it? There we go.
Let's see.
Yeah, look at that. So those are all individual pieces.
Correct. Yeah.
And what are they made from? You said something about
metal mini blinds.
Metal mini blinds.
Yeah, and I actually had to pound the mini blinds flat. After I cut out each feather, I would pound it flat.
My gosh. So how long did it take you to do this? This is fascinating.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
A couple months, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it was just something that I wanted to do. I was going to make it for, I think it was a show that was on in April. Is it Meet the Artist was last April?
Yeah, it was in that show. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's an amazing piece. I remember being intrigued by it at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, right. So this paper mache stuff has gone. You have to excuse me. I have to shut off my phone here. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. The birds are actually paper mache under the metal feathers.
I've been considering myself working with some cut up aluminum cans. Have you ever used cans?
I have not, but I have seen some turned into flowers. Oh, how about this? One of my next projects. I have no idea, but these are blue plastic bottles that I've heated with a heat gun.
Yeah.
And I want to make a huge hanging recycled project.
Yeah.
And this is the very beginning of the experiment.
Like a chandelier or something.
Well,
the way you were holding it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There seems to be no end to your explorations and creativity. What haven't we covered here?
This guy right here.
I can bring up the pictures of the process pictures if you want.
Yeah.
Let's look at a few of those.
Hi there. I can't talk right now. I'll call you back.
Wait. Oh, let's see. There we go.
So this one, you can see from the left to the right, kind of the different stages that they go through. And down in front are the beginnings of the wings and the spikes that go in the back. And the wings are covered with paper. Oh, gosh. At one point, I was going to be in a Renaissance fair and I was making 36 dragons at a time.
Wow.
It actually took me 3 months to finish them, and then the fair was canceled.
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, but thankfully they have all sold.
That's amazing that so many at a time.
Yeah, I'll never do that again. And this is a work in progress on the big green dragon. He was upside down a lot of the time while I worked on him.
So is that wire kind of holding his tail into that?
Yes, you can see the wire in there.
Yeah.
And then the wire is between 2 sheets of cloth that have been dipped in Elmer's glue.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that little, yeah, this is the one that was holding the violin or the guitar.
Uh-huh.
And this is the one that was dark brown, that went in one of the artist festivals auctions.
Oh.
But you can see how I have to layer the stomach and let it dry, and they're all paper underneath the scales. And then the white stuff here is actually paper clay. It's homemade paper clay, and I make that with toilet paper, Elmer's glue, joint compound, a little bit of baby oil, and then work cornstarch into it and flour into it and make it like bread dough.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So this is a very unique art form. I haven't seen it around here. Are there other people around here who do this? You mentioned that if you look across the country, there are a lot of people who do it. But
Yes.
Are you the only one in this area who works like this?
I believe I am. I saw one woman, I believe it was in Oakdale many years ago, who was doing a little bit of paper mache at a craft fair. But that's the only time I've ever seen anybody else do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you can see more the paper clay forming around the eyes and the nose.
That's really neat. Here's the.
Oh, that's my other reading dragon.
Oh, this is different than the one that we showed before?
Yes, the other one was black and more outgoing. I would say this is a librarian.
A librarian dragon.
Yeah.
I've heard you refer to some of your projects by kind of by their names and like they're your own friends and characters. I love that you have such a personal relationship with them.
Yeah, yeah. And I had somebody ask me recently, said, is it hard to give them away when it's time when they're done, you know? And I said, yeah, you can get attached to them. You really can.
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure.
It makes me so happy to see him to go to someone who really appreciates it.
Yeah. That's a unique idea, a reading dragon.
Yeah, that was a request.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Yeah. We should have had one of those in the Carnegie Center's next show that's coming up for the
really?
library opening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but anyway.
So I'm assuming, looking at your studio and everything, that you've been busy during the pandemic?
I have actually, yes. I've been quite productive because I'm such an introvert. I enjoy my time at home, and I've been able to spend so much more time on creativity. And well, Don Quixote and the Big White Dragon came out of the pandemic, and I can't remember how many. I've actually had several commissions for dragons during the pandemic, so I've been staying busy.
Uh-huh. So looking beyond you at your wall, is that a painting on the easel?
Yes.
Is that one of yours?
Yes, it is. Yeah. That's the Chinese wall with the English dragons in it.
With English dragons.
Yeah, the wall of China with English dragons. Yep.
Okay. Well, you got both Eastern and Western. The good and,
I
the
did
bad.
that painting. I did that painting specifically to learn perspective. I wanted to practice my perspective, and my daughter looked at it and she said, "That's a two-way perspective. That's not a single perspective." So I didn't even realize I was creating that until after it got started. So,
Wow. So you started late and you're still going.
yes. Who knows what's going to be next? I'm working on a couple projects. I've got 2 projects in the works. Cross my fingers they'll happen. Commission works. And then I've got a 3D wall piece that I want to make for the gallery, but I have to figure out how it can hang on the wall.
Uh-huh. Another dragon or something else?
Probably be more human than dragon.
Or human. Yeah, that's great. Well, what a tour.
Yeah.
Thank you. My gosh.
You're welcome. This has been fun, quite an experience.
Oh, it's been fun for us too, just seeing all this. Just absolutely amazing. I think, and people like your work. I mean, I keep seeing little things here on the comments section. It's like, I bought one of her dragons. Yeah, I bought one of them too.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, the one I showed before my wife bought is like, yeah, so wherever it came from, you've tapped into something that's kind of wonderful.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
more.
Go ahead. It's more personal than it is falling into an art pattern. It just comes out of my heart, I guess, or out of my mind. It's not trying to follow any certain set pattern in art.
Which makes it art. So one of the things we didn't talk about is the gargoyle.
Oh, yeah.
Fine gargoyle. I can see him up there.
Oh, man. Well, I like the mythical things.
Yeah.
And gargoyles are in the dragon family. And I just had to make one.
Linda, can you pull that up in the pictures? I think we have one from the gallery.
I think so. Hang on.
Is he still around, or have you sold him? Or
no, he's right up there on the shelf.
He's right up there.
Yeah. And I don't care if I don't sell him.
He's quite a creature. I remember looking at him and wondering.
There he is.
He looks like.
He's so mischievous. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I love his expression there.
But also the creation, he looks like a poured sculpture or something. How did you?
I tried really hard to make him look like stone or concrete.
Yeah, well, he does, and none of one of your explorations to create what you want. Yeah, he's a wonderful creature. Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So.
That is something too. Lately, everything I do, it seems like I've been learning something new for each piece. So it's expanding my interest in what I can do.
Okay. Well, we're getting near the end of the hour, and I want to thank you again for being on our show with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's been a wonderful experience, and to have you share all of these different ideas and wonderful creations. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
We all benefit from it. So, okay. So thanks again. And those of you watching, next week we will have on another painter and 3D artist, Gerald Heffernan. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching today. So
bye.
All right.
Ta-ta.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.